Chapter 812, Myth from Another Perspective. Upon clearly seeing the picture through Senner's vision, Klein's heart raced so loudly that even he could hear it. As a seer who was good at interpreting revelations and symbolism, he felt his blood gush to his head, leaving his head swelling. It seemed to prevent him from engaging and thinking deeper into it. Even so, there was an ethereal voice belonging to him that resounded in his mind. It was filled with alarm. That figure that's dismembered and eaten likely represents the ancient sun god, the Lord that created everything, the omnipotent and omniscient God which the City of Silver believes in. And I've seen the three evil figures surrounding him before. In the underground ruin in Backland, the place that sealed that terrifying evil spirit. They existed in the form of a statue, but didn't look as evil as the picture depicts them to be. They each respectively represent the eternal blazing sun, the Lord of storms, and the God of knowledge and wisdom. Suddenly, Klein recalled the name he had once received, one that he had directly received when looking straight at the eternal blazing sun. White Angel. No way. Could it be that the eternal blazing sun was once an angel by the ancient sun god's side? Little Sun once mentioned that they heard an ecclesiastic's penitence and prophesy of a matter in Afternoon Town. One of the sentences was, the kings often came to the palace belonging to the dusk to conspire. The eternal blazing sun was originally named White Angel, which is also a king of angels, one that betrayed that creator. And he, and the Lord of storms, the God of knowledge and wisdom, and the dark infant who I have no idea what it represents had benefited the most out of consuming the City of Silver's creator. The Bibles of the various churches mention that the three most ancient deities were born from the original creator spirit. In a sense, it's actually hinting at this dark history. If my theories are correct, then the Lord of storms and the God of knowledge and wisdom are likely the kings of angels that serve the creator, the ancient sun god, who the City of Silver worships. Perhaps they should be addressed as Wind Angel and Wisdom Angel. This way, all 8 kings of angels are accounted for: Dark Angel, White Angel, Wind Angel, Wisdom Angel, Angel of Imagination, Angel of Time, Angel of Fate, and Red Angel. From what Little Sun heard, and from the subsequent developments of these kings of angels, it seems that apart from the 2 sons of God, Ammon and Adam, the other kings of angels had betrayed the creator. No way this ancient sun god ended way too tragi. However, this picture might not be real. It might be sacrilege, it's still suspect. I wonder who the dark infant sitting in the ancient sun god's abdomen represents. It feels like the true creator is the greatest suspect. Klein instantly thought of many matters, as he felt the urge to leave, and pretend that he hadn't seen the picture the deeper he pondered over the matter. At that instant, he felt an irrepressible sense of fear, to the point of feeling that the eternal blazing sun, the Lord of storms, and the God of knowledge and wisdom were casting their gaze down from the astral world in his imagination. Who left this picture behind? Who could have known so many secrets and clearly be on the ancient sun god's side? One of the other angels or saints that have been constantly following the City of Silver creator with enduring faith. Klein's back oozed with sweat as his body trembled slightly. Although Alger's observational abilities were inferior to Miss Justice, he was an experienced beyonder. In this environment that needed a high sense of vigilance and awareness, it wasn't difficult for him to notice that something odd had happened to J.M. and Sparrow. What happened? He asked with a suppressed tone. Klein suddenly snapped to his senses as he made Senner move his gaze away as he pointed at the circular region in the middle. You'll know just by looking at it. A picture that can make J.M. tremble? Will it make me lose control immediately? It's probably not a problem since he's not stopping me but suggesting that I take a look. However, I cannot eliminate the possibility that he has already lost his reasoning and is just acting normal. Many thoughts flashed through Alger's mind, but ultimately, he steadily walked towards the central region with his lantern in hand. After about 8 steps, he saw the gloomy picture. In just 3 seconds, Alger's hands trembled with the dagger and lantern in his grip. It was as though he was suffering from some kind of mental illness. Thanks to the world Jayaman, he had once seen the 6 orthodox deities, anthropomorphic statues in the Tarot Club. He naturally recognized that the R meeting, heart-tripping and brain-guzzling figures were respectively the Lord of Storms, the eternal blazing sun, and the God of knowledge and wisdom. In the past, he had committed a disloyal act to the church whilst under Kalangos' coercion. He joined the Tarot Club and distanced himself from the Chasm of Storm, believed in Mr. Fool, and wished to gain more strength and power. And he leaked the church's intel and was unmotivated in certain matters. Even so, he ultimately believed himself to be a believer of the Lord of Storms, albeit someone who wasn't devout and passionate enough. But at that moment, he felt deep down in his heart that he had committed a grave sin of sacrilege. He nearly dug out his eyes in horror. To not kill myself directly, it means that I really have become a false believer. Alger didn't dare take another look as he turned around and looked at J.M. and Sparrow. With a trembling voice, he asked, "Those three are kings of angels." "I can't give you confirmation. All I can say is that the eternal blazing sun is intimately connected to the white angel," Klein vaguely answered. As expected, Alger immediately felt that the possibility that the Lord of Storms, the eternal blazing sun, and the God of knowledge and wisdom were once kings of angels. As for J.M. and Sparrow not being able to confirm the situation, he wasn't too surprised. It wasn't odd since he was only a blessed and not Mr. Fool. Alger was just about to say something when he heard a sharp screech. It was as though someone was using their fingernails to scratch the lid of a stone coffin. No, it wasn't an analogy, and it was exactly what was happening. Swing, rip, sizzle. Sharp, jarring sounds of scratching sounded from 3 stone coffins on both sides. Then, the heavy lids were either flung open or blasted open as 3 warped figures stood up. One of them wore an ancient white robe that had nearly turned gray. Its face was riddled with pockmarks, and across its neck, forehead, and the back of its hands were deep eyes. Beside it was a figure with huge palms and thick fingers that looked as though they were made of wood. Slathered around its body was a layer of yellow-green pus as a mist of the same color emanated out of it, seemingly capable of eroding away the stone coffin. Opposite the two was a figure in a tattered brown jacket with a triangular hat with a skull on it. Many parts of its skin had rotted away, revealing the bone beneath. Under its clothes and pants, thick and slimy tentacles that had fish scales embedded inside had burrowed out as it released a domineering, savage, tyrannous, and terrifying aura. This even made Klein feel as though he was facing a high-sequence Beyonder from the Storm pathway. However, its body didn't appear to reach that level. The 3 deceased bodies that crawled out of the coffin cast their eyes in the direction of J.M. and Sparrow and Alger. One produced silver bolts of lightning that crackled. Another reflected the duo's figures in the countless eyes it had. The last one spread its yellow-green mist and created brown vines. At the same time, they stormed over with loud and hurried footsteps as a 6-winged gargoyle was rushing over. Upon seeing this, Klein didn't panic. His Laymanos travels-wielding left hand reached into his pocket, tore open the wall of spirituality, and used 2 fingers to pick out Azek's copper whistle. Right on the heels of that, he flicked his wrist and threw the copper whistle to the other side of the room. Without any surprises, he saw the 3 deceased bodies with terrifying auras turn around and rush towards it like trained hounds. Upon seeing this scene, Alger's gaze froze before he made a decision. He threw his lantern and rushed for the door. His experience told him that while J.M. and Sparrow could deal with the 3 terrifying deceased, he needed to hold back the 6-winged gargoyle to prevent it from interfering with the crazy adventurer's battle. Bang! Just as Alger arrived at the door, he saw the double door crack. A 6-winged gargoyle was charging in with an 8-meter-long trident. He immediately drew a gasp as his eyes burned with rage. His muscles swelled, and under the aid of the wind, he charged forward and brandished the dagger that swirled with silver lightning. Bang! He dodged the stone trident that smashed downwards, and he cleaved at the gargoyle's abdomen with a dagger. Instantly, sparks flew as rubble sprayed everywhere. Alger flew backwards as the gargoyle's charge was disrupted. Bang! Alger heavily slammed into the ground. As he had created an air cushion in time, he didn't suffer any serious injuries. And at this moment, the 3 deceased bodies had gathered together to vie for Azek's copper whistle. Klein looked at them, and calmly flipped Leymano's travels to a charred yellow page with complicated patterns and symbols. This was a demigod-level power that he recently recorded, Lightning Storm. Then, Klein slid one finger across the notebook page with his death knell-wielding hand. At the same time, he looked at the 3 mutated deceased bodies who were vying for Azek's copper whistle. With a deep voice, he greeted them. Bye-bye. Amidst sizzling sounds, bolts of lightning burst forth, meshing together to form a hurricane, enveloping the region where Azek's copper whistle was, as well as the 3 deceased bodies. The entire tomb was instantly lit up like it was daytime. Even Alger nearly failed to open his eyes. His body instinctively trembled as a result of the terrifying aura. With the aid of the wind, he leaped up with the hurricane taking form in his eyes. He once again charged at the 6-winged gargoyle that attempted to attack Jayaman Sparrow.